Day one.
I felt good to be back out there. Obviously, we've been playing pickup, working out a little bit, but to have all the coaches, all the players back in town, get into it in a proper practice environment, it felt great. The guys look good. You can tell guys have been working hard this summer, so I'm excited, and it was a great day one.
Obviously, an entire season is a huge apple to try to take a bite of on day one. What do you even try to focus on here today?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things. As a young team, there's definitely a lot of room for growth, and we've hit the nails on the head with things last year that we need to get better at, and we're honing in on those. And I think guys are really buying into what Coach Mark and the rest of our people here are doing. So it's a fun environment to be in, and I'm really excited headed into my second year and the next year for a lot of these guys.
Do you feel like a vet team is so good?
I mean, I wouldn't say a vet though. I'd say I think on our team we've got a lot of young guys who have leadership capabilities, and I think as a guard that's one of the responsibilities is to be able to organize the team, get guys involved, set guys up. And I think regardless of my age, I think last year was the same thing. As a guard, you have to do those things, and naturally I've always had those kind of leadership tendencies, and especially with Shea out, I think the rest of us have to pick up that slack because he's the head of what we do, and I think guys did a great job of that today.
What are the biggest parts of your game that you really want to enhance, especially going into this year?
Yeah, shooting the ball was a big one for me. Obviously, bringing in Chip is big for me. We spent a lot of time together, so that was a big emphasis. The weight room getting stronger was important for me too. So, I'm 19, so I got a lot of room to grow and a lot of things I need to get better at. So there was a lot of different things this summer that we worked on, but I'd say shooting and getting stronger were the two main ones.
Could you notice the competition out there with guys trying to make this picture?
Yeah, you can feel it. And we spoke about it last night that, the roster spots are valuable these days in the NBA, and there's a lot of people trying to get in, and you can't never take your spot for granted. So it's good to have that competition in training. You can feel it, in the gym, guys getting after competing. And while internally we're fighting against each other, it's going to help us going forward when we've got to compete against other teams. So it's a great environment to play in, and excited for tomorrow.
Did you feel any level of just continuity, having played last year and playing with a lot of the guys that are in the gym today, just kind of picking up where you left off at all?
Definitely. I think, obviously playing last year, but I think this summer, playing pickup with guys really helps a lot. Although it's not a proper, structured environment, just getting familiar with what guys have worked on, what their new, things they like to do are. So there's definitely things you can carry over from last year to this year. And as I said, I'm excited. A lot of guys have made big strides this summer, so that's going to help our team going forward.
Go ahead.
Mark said that guys are going to look different. I know it's the first day, but in a positive way. Do you feel that? Did you see that?
Absolutely. You can tell guys been lifting, especially I was here for probably the first 8 weeks of the summer, and guys were in here lifting, working hard. So I could definitely tell who's I mean, everyone's made improvements throughout the summer, and it's evident when you're playing against them. It feels like you're playing against a completely different team, which is a really positive sign for what we're trying to do. So guys have had great summers, and this is the time to bring it all back and put it together as a unit.
You mentioned about 400 now. Is that what you're...
I wish I get there.
There were times last year where you all were a top 10 defense around that mark. Sam said that you guys kind of have to go back to the drawing board and build that up, not take that for granted. How do you get started on that process of being a really good team defense this year? Yeah,
we spoke about that a lot. That's, the end we wanted to hang our hats on, and I think we were top 10 for a lot of the year. And I think as a younger, less experienced team, there's going to be nights where you're going to be physically outmatched, have less experience. But the one thing you can't control is how hard you play and the effort you put in, especially on that end of the floor. And Coach Mark, harps on it, and the guys really buy into that end of the floor. So I think when we're at our best, defensively, we can cause problems for a lot of teams, and that can lead to fast break points and easy stuff in transition. So if we can start our offense on that end of the floor, it's going to put us in good stead for a lot of these games.
Talked to some guys yesterday about who has the best hair on the team. Your name did not come up, but the fans said you were getting slighted. So who do you think has the best hair on the team?
Who do they say had the best hair?
SJ was the one that...
Yeah, okay. I can live with that. Shay has good hair.
They did say Dort and Jalen, J-Dub.
They're great. I feel a bit disrespected, but they do all have good hair. Jeremiah with his afro is nice as well. So there's a lot of good hairstyles on this team.
So you might have to go to a mohawk?
Absolutely. I'm going to have to try something different. Get some respect.
No, you mentioned Chip earlier. What kind of tweaks are you making to your shot? What does that look like?
It's not a whole lot different, to what it was last year. It's just a few minor changes. Chip, he didn't come in trying to completely restructure my shot or anything. There was just, minor things, just hand placement. I used to flick the ball up with my thumb. So just different things we're working on. But I've said it many times, but he's a genius in what he does, and I trust the things he has in place for me. And although it's, shooting from where I was last year to this year, it's not going to change, 10, 12%. It's hopefully, small increments every day, and hopefully over the long course, it starts to improve and get better and better. But I trust what Chip has in place. He's the best in the business, so I'm excited to keep working with him.
Do you know if he's working with other guys, or is he mostly working with you right now? What's that look like?
I'm not sure. I know he's around the building a bit. I haven't really spoken to him actually about who he's working with.
You talked last year about, something that you dealt with in the NBL, and then here is like not letting a slow start affect you. How have you maybe over the last few years been able to calibrate that a little bit and not let how you start or a stretch of games kind of deter you in any way?
Yeah, it was the same last year. I guess I started bad and I was kind of in my head a little bit. And I guess when, you're 19, you're on social media and you see all these people talking about you. And for me, it got to me a lot. And I saw all the stuff, people were saying. And once I kind of blocked all that out and just focused, what I'm doing here, what we're doing, things became a lot easier. And once I, had got a couple good games under my belt and got some momentum, it was good from there. But in the NBA, there's 82 games. You play a bad game, you've got to put it in the back of your mind and, fly to the next city and play the next night. So that's the beauty of the NBA. You can't dwell on games for too long. You got to, flip the page and get on to the next one.
How excited are you that you don't have to come into the season and people are talking about you being the youngest guy to do something?
Very excited. It's good to have, I think Luz might be the youngest now, so it's good to have, not have that weight on my shoulders anymore.